So you have chosen the Zoo Warlock. So this is just an example deck. The basic idea behind this deck, as you can see in the mana curve, so I have 13 1 cost cards, 9 2 cost cards, 2 3 cost cards, 4 4 cost cards, and 2 5 cost cards. So let's start with a quick review. So as you can see, there are many 1 cost minions like the Abusive Sergeant, Flaming, Pleeper, Gnome, Undertaker, and Zombie Chow. Undertaker is the one we really need in this deck. It synergizes with your other Death Rattle minions like Reaper, Dome, Zombie Chow, and there are some more like the Hunted Creeper, Harvest Golem, the Piloted Shredder, or the Nerubian Egg. So these cards get very strong in the early game if you can play it early and play Death Rattle minions after that. Okay, there are some spells like Power Overwhelming Soulfire. These are used for clearing your opponent's bigger taunt minions with 5 or more health, and they can be used for the finish as well. Like if you have 2 Power Overwhelmings in your hand, you have 1 minion on the board, play the 2 on them, that's 8 plus, and finish them off with the Soulfire, that's 12 damage from your hand. So you need 1 minion for it, but it's a nice finishing combo. Abusive Sergeant buffs one of your minions up for extra 2 damage or clear bigger minions. Flaming is just a simple good card with 2-3 attack for 1. Similarly, Zombie Chow is a 2-3 for 1. Nice value card, and it also has a Death Rattle which synergizes well with the Undertaker. Direwolf Alpha gives 2 attack if you have 2 minions on the board, extra damage to the face, or helping to clear bigger taunts or bigger threats on the board with your smaller minions like the Flame Imp or the Leaper. No. Hunted Creeper usually is value card, so even if your opponents manage to kill it, it becomes 2-1-1. You can buff those 1-1s up with Direwolf, for example, to give them 1 attack, so they become a 2-1. You can buff them up with the Defender of Argus, in which they become a 2-2, which is a really great value as well. Iron Beak Owl is used for removing taunts or getting rid of big minions with strong magical effects, so you can remove health, damage, some nasty effect from them with the silence. Knife Juggler, nothing to explain here. You have many low cost minions, and you can use this with the Knife Juggler. So you drop a Knife Juggler, you drop a couple of 1 cost minions after that, which helps to finish off your opponent or clear enemy threats from the board. Nerubian Egg is a really strong card. You have many ways to buff these up with the Power Overwhelming or the Abusive Sergeant, also Direwolf Alpha, Defender of Argus. So all these cards can be used to buff the egg up to 1 or more attack, and you can make exchanges with the egg and it comes back as a 4-4, so it's generally a nice card for this deck. So the Harvest Golem, it's a nice value card. Even if the enemy kills it, it comes back as 2 attack with 1 health, which is most of the time not a very big deal unless the opponent has an extra 2 mana to clear it with a hero ability, so as a mage, druid, or a rogue. But other than that, it still remains a 2 attack minion. So Defender of Argus, it synergizes well with Nerubian Egg and any other card in this deck. You will have at least 2 minions on the board all the time. So Defender of Argus hits 2 minions, which is really nice value. So you get 4 stats on the board and the 2-3 on top of that. So it's usually a very nice card in these type of decks. Piloted Shredder, for the same reason as Harvest Golem and Hunted Creeper and Nerubian Egg. So it does something, it kills something with the 4 attack most of the time. Your opponent has to use a spell on it, and it comes back as a 2-cost minion, and any 2-cost minion is fine for you, except Doomsayer, which can kill your entire board, but the enemies as well. So that's a little risk, but you have like 1 in a 40 chance or 30 chance to get a Doomsayer. So it's not that a big deal. And Doomguard, finally, you should play this card when your hand is empty. You should only play this card otherwise when you really need to remove something from the board very fast. It has charge, so it has an immediate impact on the board. You can clear a taunt with it, or finish your opponent with a 5 attack. And it has 7 health, so it's not that easy to get rid of this card. Okay, so this was the Zoo deck. Of course, you can replace these cards with other similar 1, 2 or 3 cost cards, or even 4 cost cards. The basic idea is that you shouldn't have that many high cost cards, so you should avoid any other 5, 6 and 7 or more cost cards. You shouldn't have more than 4 cost cards. You could have a little bit more 3 cost cards instead of 4 cost cards, but you should have a lot of 1 and 2 cost cards to keep up the pressure in the early game and go for the face. Playstyle with this deck should be a little bit controlly, so you should clear the smaller minions from the board all the time and go for the face with your extra damage on the board. And this shouldn't be that hard, because you can play a minion or even 2, and after a few turns you can play multiple minions on the same turn, and you can refill with your life tap ability as a warlock. So don't be afraid to play as much minions as you can.